Mississippi, with its rich natural resources and unique geographical features, faces significant challenges related to extreme climate events, extractive energy practices, and water contamination. The state's location along the Gulf Coast makes it susceptible to hurricanes and severe storms. Heavy rainfall associated with storms often leads to flooding, particularly in low-lying areas. Flooding can damage property, disrupt transportation, and pose health risks due to waterborne diseases. Extractive energy practices from oil and gas exploration, fracking, and coal mining are causing air and water pollution, impacting aquatic life and water quality for nearby communities.
Good morning, Rev.
Big cow. Two of those bastards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Really making a documentary.
All right, where's your stuff?
Already in the car.
Oh. So, Cal, how has it been coordinating the From Resilience to Restoration program?
Been an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, what are your highs and lows?
Well, the highs are certainly the prospect of at least 6 restoration plans per state. That we are showing practical examples of shifting the focus from resilience, from rolling with the punches, to restoration, stopping pummeling our frontline communities.
What are your lows? You didn't get to the lows.
Oh, well, of course, always wish we could do more. But I'm proud of what we've done, and we're the best part is we ain't stopping here. As you have pointed out, we want our initial restoration partners, whether national, state, or local. This is our first cohort. So even as we are growing, moving to stage 2, growing from resilience to restoration, from the Gulf South to the whole South, we want this first cohort to show the way within the Gulf states and be recruiting and inspiring other partners.
In 800 feet, make a U-turn.
No U-turns. We're going to Cracker Barrel. Okay, you like Cracker Barrel?
I do.
All right. So, one of the things that I've noticed is the participation of communities of faith. And hearing from some of the organizations that we worked with that aren't necessarily faith-based, but hearing the importance of communities of faith working with these organizations. And looking at you as the coordinator of this project, what has been your experience with communities of faith and the acceptance or the welcoming of communities of faith involvement in this?
Well, first off, it has just reaffirmed our belief that we are spot on with approaching communities of faith first. we're not working solely with communities of faith, of course, but you and I know that communities of faith already are resilience centers and frontline communities. They are already serving that role. We're not telling them anything they don't already know. We just want to help move that focus, as we talked about, from resilience to restoration, so that they can become proactive, get ahead of the game, stop rolling with the punches, and start restoring from our 3E framework. That is ecological restoration, economic restoration, which of course in frontline communities is really elevation, and ecumenical. And we use the term ecumenical in a true interfaith sense, not just a Christian interdenominational sense. But the houses of faith have been amazing. We were blown away that the National Academies loved that approach and has fully supported us every step of this process. And so, yeah, you'll see on these documentaries the shining examples that are mostly houses of faith. But as you say, we don't stop there. We're not limiting it to houses of faith. We've got a very interesting site visit coming up next weekend with an organization called Compassion Ranch that's run by a nonprofit called Life Leaders Institute. My old leadership mentor, Dr. David Dyson, who is now not just rescuing animals, but teaching all sorts of civics concepts. And he's got all these leadership models that include a spiritual component. So his ecumenical is going to look very different than a lot of our House of Faith ecumenical components. But it's another view of restoring people and planet, and making sure that people and planet are placed over profit.
So we came to Jackson, Mississippi to be with Mississippi Rising for our From Resilience to Restoration tour. And when we got here last night, it started storming and with some heavy winds. And one of our site visits got hit real bad during that time, and their roof is completely off or peeled back. And inside of the building, it's leaking like crazy.
So they were hoping to, and I'm sure they still are hoping to eventually get solar panels installed on the roof.
Well, all the insulation is down here now, so.
Maybe like 20, like 20 to me. Maybe 30, the whole thing.
So 20 by 20, think that'll do it? Or?
But we need few, maybe 3 or 4 cars. 20 by 20.
3 or 4 20 by 20 tarp rack.
What is it?
I was thinking 5.
Yeah, 5. 5.
I thought 5. At least. And you got folks that'll get up there and tack it down? I got 2 or 3. It's not as bad as it would have been had they not had those tarps and everything, as if it would have changed. I mean, I heard
Maybe like 2016 or something.
Okay.
When the church took a few years to decide what to do with it, because we were currently on state.
Okay.
And there was the idea, like, there was a chunk of the congregation that just wanted to sell this and use it to renovate our other property. But there was a bigger contingent in the church that saw the potential of this place and what we could do. Mm-hmm.
And the piece that is important if you're not from Jackson is that this road, if you go a block up, you're in Fondren. And Fondren is this little neighborhood. I mean, if you even want to call it a neighborhood, but it's a block of investment in the city, whereas the rest of the city has been divested. And you can see it. It's when y'all leave, you'll see it. It's just a block up. All of a sudden, there's park benches and sidewalks, and the road looks good, and there's stores and business. Whereas,
What's the demographics for that area?
well, that area is more white. All of Jackson is predominantly black,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
The further northeast you get, the more white residential you get. And there's been a concerted effort on the business people's part to, they call it like reinvigorating, but it's 100% the little bit of what's the word? Gentrification that we've dealt with in Jackson.
Okay.
A lot of it has just been sort of a holdout, withholding, which is what you see in
Right.
bigger cities as the pre-gentrification.
Right.
And so Fondren is kind of the only part that's really taken hold. I guess, would you agree with that? This part, there's some like reclaiming of areas that were kind of abandoned throughout the majority of Jackson. There are abandoned houses, there's burned down houses, there's vacancies, well, right now there are lots of power outages, but I live in Jackson, in the heart of Jackson, and we frequently have outages and traffic lights and,
Water issues, flooding. Just about every time it rains, it'll flood a little bit and then recede. So I just specifically, though, the part of where we are is crucial. Even though we're like a quarter of a mile from the old church, it's a crucial quarter of a mile because it's where that investment and lack of investment intersect. Does that sound accurate
we're right at
representation?
the edge of that area. Even in the Fondren neighborhood, you can see some houses are more developed and other ones are in disrepair. So yeah, we're right at that where they meet.
Yeah.
So there's a great opportunity to really serve and meet a need in this community,
So
especially with water.
with the gardens, what was your purpose in putting the gardens? What were you trying to answer for? What was the problem that existed, I guess?
We're a food desert. We just officially became a food desert when they closed the grocery store on Northside Drive. If you go up a little bit, Northside Drive had I think it was part of I don't remember the name of the grocery store. It might have been a grocery depot, but it was one of the only fresh market grocery stores in this area. So there's a universally defined food desert here in this location where we are.
Okay.
Due to lack of grocery stores with produce.
So yeah, really just trying to get fresh vegetables, something nutritious to people,
Yeah.
as well as allow people to have access to a really nice green space. So we're hoping to develop this area more to where it can have a proper ambulatory, make it more accessible. That was another piece that was really important to the church's vision. So when the church decided to move into this property, developing this for community use and for church use was a big part of that. So this is just like the first phase of kind of what we're trying to do.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so this center area would be what we would develop as like kind of our initial like intake. This is where we'd have like office hours, like something available for people to call, come up, get help. But this is this sort of central area that was, you can see initially some sort of office.
Yeah.
But we were hoping to kind of develop accessible bathrooms, accessible showers, maybe some like emergency response shelter in here. This space is still very much up in the air, and I do think this would be a great opportunity for, as we're connecting with community, what do we want this space to be? Because that other large space we do see is like, well, I was saying like a sanctuary, but also like a lecture hall or performance space or something like that. This right now, yeah, we have stuff for our like free market. So as we have produce we can hand out, we can roll up this door, give out water, people can walk around, see if they have anything they need, or we have anything they need, and they can pay what you want, take what you need, sort of situation.
Beautiful.
But, you know, as it stands right now, the buildings are not watertight.
Okay.
So like,
If it rain.
kind of leakage in there, also in the other space. But yeah, that's this giant building. So lots of potential. It's just kind of a almost hollowed out warehouse, just waiting for us to make decisions about how to use it.
But I was thinking about, the water as well as the disaster recovery and having supplies and whatnot, but not just for UU or not just for you all, but for the whole state.
Well,
And being able to reach out to nonprofits who work in that space to help and partner with you. Hey, we got this space. We need to get it fixed up, but here's a great space for us to be able to house. Because you got doors, people can just pull up and load up their trucks and keep going. And then you can work with FEMA and get funded through FEMA to, for upkeep and helping you to staff and all of this.
Yeah, I think this needs to remain the community resource room.
Mm-hmm. We use this space as a water distribution hub.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's water left over right there.
Well, and we are going to be storing
in the garage door, unloading water.
Right. I mean, the potential for. Okay.
kids back.
I'm excited.
You see, let me get you some air conditioning.
Ah.
We're gonna go up to this door right here.
Okay.
Our youth space is our nursery. Here we have our kind of Sunday school for our younger kids. Yeah, so this building was the first building we really developed.
She's still down
For
here.
like
She's coming up here.
weekly consistent use. This is where we have Sunday services. There they are, the board is talking about already how to just make this space, fit a few more people. So I imagine the congregation will be meeting in here for several more years.
Yeah.
Unless, membership just explodes or something.
Which it's gonna do as we grow the resource center.
I agree, yeah. As we're doing real work, that's what draws people in.
Just to the point you were making about us being a hub, we are in these emergencies, like we're kind of actively pursuing that position and being a supportive space for our neighbors.
Good.
We were gonna work with the rapid response for food back in the water crisis, but they ended up finding another church. But we are gonna store some of our disaster prep kits that we make in New Orleans here. And that's gonna, I think, help build our relationship with some of the other groups.
Yeah, so we're bringing a couple box truck loads full of relief and recovery supplies and then disaster preparedness kits. And UU has offered to be the staging location for all of those supplies. So, because it made sense, because we've got the box trucks, they've got the space with the door. It just makes
sense.
And this is a location that
But I was
is
thinking,
in desperate need of resources.
I was thinking about our conversation with Sheree yesterday.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I mean. This is a staging.
Right.
This is going to be a staging location for the entire state with those supplies.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then also, like you mentioned, both of you mentioned how the history of UU is really to challenge the civil rights and to stand up for racial injustices. And also LGBTQ injustice, because as y'all know, the state's under attack in that way. And so we kind of are an oasis already in that there are not a lot of religious communities that say we'll accept you however you are with all your rainbow and all of as you are, we're accepting. And we're accepting a congregation that's multiracial and diverse. So it sort of seems inevitable almost with the right support that we do foster this position with the nonprofit communities in Jackson, I think. Thank y'all so much for coming to visit.
One more thing, I want to note that they just closed one of the local grocery stores in this area. So it is definitely a food. Y'all said and
Northside Drive.
and also that the water well has been tagged as
Yes. So the well that's in place now is a 900-foot artesian well system. When the water crisis initially happened a couple years ago, has it been a couple years now? A year?
I think it's been a year since the actual crisis.
We knew that given the severity of the problem here in Jackson with the water infrastructure, that the need for a source of clean water is a priority. And we knew that UU has this 900-foot artesian well that's already been dug, but the problem is we don't know, does it work? And if it doesn't work, can it work? So we were able to contact a well engineer and get him to come out and assess the well. And it just so happens that he is the same well technician or engineer that worked on this same well 20 years ago when this was a water bottling factory.
Oh, wow.
So he's extremely familiar with this well, with the electrical system attached to it and how it works. And he is fairly confident that he can replace one of the
I think it's the pump.
one of the parts.
Get the water out. It's 900 feet down.
He came out and did a thorough assessment of it and feels fairly confident that he can get it up and running so that it pumps 40 to 50 gallons a minute into that 1,250 gallon storage tank that's in the warehouse space. And the good part about it is already tagged by Mississippi State Department of Health for public consumption. So the minute it's up and running,
we just need the money to get it going and the money to manage it.
Come get water. So that is a source of liquid gold out there.